All right, so welcome to Marketing Best Practices and Tips. In this lesson, I'm going to be covering marketing, but in regards to social media. Okay, so I want you to be able to understand what it is and what it isn't so that you can make sure you're marketing properly so that you attract the right audience and learn how to nurture them and, most importantly, convert them into ready to buy, paying full customers. Okay. So, social media marketing. All right, they have all these different kind of detailed definitions of marketing, but to just keep it simple, marketing is getting your brand and products perfectly positioned in front of those who want it. Okay? And you pair that with a sales strategy and you're printing money. So, just like a megaphone, using your campaigns and your messaging, right? You're going to get your brand out there and you're going to get it in front of your ideal customer. So, social media marketing is great because you can build brand awareness, you can find your ideal audience, and you can build your community and relationships and establish know, like, trust all in one place. All right. There's not a lot of marketing channels that allow you to do that all in one place, like, email marketing, SEO. It doesn't allow you to do that, but social media does. And these are the three major keys to social media marketing that we are going to focus on. All right. And the first one is aligning your messaging. Okay. So, AKA your copy. Your copy will be used in your captions, to your emails, to your landing pages, anything where you're going to have some type of script. That's your messaging. So, you want to make sure that it aligns to not only your ideal audience, but it represents your brand and what you offer properly. Because if you use the power of your words correctly, literally, sometimes it just takes a few sentences before someone converts. Okay, so that's why we start with that. Also, your messaging, especially when you're promoting, will help you then move on to the second major key, which is attracting your ideal audience. So sometimes people say, I'm not attracting the right people. And then you have to ask yourself, what messaging were you using, right? We talked about this before in copy. If you're a female entrepreneur or coach for high tickets and you're just saying, hey, calling all coaches, that's a very broad, audience that may be, appealing to your message. Versus saying, hey, I'm looking for female course creators who are high ticket coaches. So do you see what I'm saying? It's just a little bit different, right? So that's why aligning your message will lead you into attracting your ideal audience, which is your right audience that you want. And then the last part is activating your audience to take action. Okay, how many of you feel like, man, everyone always says they're so inspired and they like my information, but they're not taking action? That's because you have to learn how to activate your audience to take action. Okay, so the goal is to find the right message to attract your ideal audience and the right message to nurture your ideal audience, and articulate the value of your offerings so that they eventually become a paying customer. And if you can do that in one fell swoop, or you can do that quickly, that's the most ideal situation. So, why is this important? Okay, we always want to make sure we know why we're doing something. All right? I don't like to tell you just to do something, just to do it. I like to help you understand why so that you can move with more intention. So marketing is important because it allows you to share your products and services with your audience strategically. It helps you tell, show, and prove to people how your offer can help them. Okay, because we don't create desire. The desire is already there. They're already looking to buy something. Why do you think that McDonald's will pop up or Target will pop up in a certain area? They don't have to market it. If they see those golden arches or if they see that red Target dot, they know Target or McDonald's is coming. And people are just going to flock there. Because that's what they wanted. There wasn't a Target or McDonald's within, 10-minute, 15-minute drive. So the desire is already there. You don't have to create it. Somebody wants what you have. But your job is to attract the right people and channel them to your desire. Because if they're not going to buy from you, they're going to buy from someone else. Okay, it's not that people aren't shopping, people don't have money, people don't want to buy. It's just that you have to learn, which is what you're going to learn now, how to attract the right people. So, key tip, get great at creating campaigns that take them from where they are to where they want to be and how your offer will close their transformation gap. So we've talked about this with the customer journey marketing. I'm just saying this as a great tip because if you can summarize your campaigns and your visuals to tell this story of where they are to where they want to be and how each milestone you support how your offer gets them closer to where they want to be, then people are going to buy. And the faster that you can get them to the transformation gap, the more people will buy. Okay, because we live in a microwave generation, Netflix generation, right? We want everything now. So if you can realistically provide a transformation, a sustainable transformation for them and get them to where they want to be faster, people will definitely buy. And if you can articulate that inside of your marketing messaging, drawing them into your world, that's going to really help with your marketing and attracting the right people and especially your sales conversions. Okay? So let's talk about the biggest mistakes to avoid. Okay? Most people focus on brand advertising marketing, where they just keep promoting because they want to be seen. Okay, so brand advertising marketing can be like billboards, commercials, store displays, product placements. This is something that is reserved for the Starbucks, the McDonald's, the Pepsis, the Targets, the Walmarts. Okay, they want to shove their brand logo and their brand identity down your throat. If you see a green mermaid, you think of Starbucks, right? You're not really thinking of coffee bean and tea leaf, right? They haven't done a great job with branding. You see Pepsi, you see Cola, you know which one is which. You see McDonald's, you see Burger King, you see KFC, you see Wendy's, you know which one is which. You see Taco Bell, you know which one is which. Okay? Unless you are Coca-Cola or a big brand advertising marketing is not for you. It's just not actionable. Most of the time, brand advertising marketing is people using influencers and paid advertising and things like that when you're not ready for that. Okay? Another big mistake people make is that they often only market for a one-time quick sale. So they don't really have like a full plan laid out, no systems, no remarketing, nothing. Okay. So basically what you do is you just, make a few promo posts, and if the timing and everything is right, then you may make a few sales, but you get the traffic to your site, and if you don't nurture them or provide value, they just go off and go somewhere else. And that's basically you leaving money on the table. So you spent all that energy trying to get people to your site, but if they weren't ready to buy, you haven't done anything to, nurture them. Right? And so generally speaking, only 2 to 3% of people are ready to buy. And if you don't keep nurturing them after your initial promo and you don't stay top of mind when they are eventually ready to buy, then they're going to go to your competitor. That's why these systems are important. So I'm going to show that to you and I'm going to break it down, okay? Let's break down these systems and why they are important. And so what you probably are doing and what we're going to move to. Okay. So we're not talking about like if you have, the perfect sales funnels and things like that. We're just really talking about your marketing pipeline, okay? So this is generally speaking what happens for most people. And this is a funnel. So let me just this is a funnel. So we're going to just work down. Okay. This is a funnel. I'm showing you the funnel steps. All right, so generally speaking, most people just promote, which essentially is your traffic, right? It's your top of your funnel. So after they promote, where do they send them? Generally speaking, to the website. Most of the time, it's not even a specific targeted landing page, which kills me, because especially if you're e-commerce and you have a lot of products, then how are they supposed to know, how to find what that one thing is that you're advertising, right? So after you send them to your website, you have one of two paths that people take. Now, if you're lucky, because everything, like I said, all the things align, you get a purchase. Okay? And promo can be anything. It could be sending them from your Instagram page. It could be sending them from your Facebook group. It could be advertising. It could be influencers, whatever. We're not talking about the actual things you're doing. We're just talking about the general flow. So promote the traffic, send it to the website, and then if this is great, then they make a purchase. And then at this point, this is cool because then you've got their customer info, right? Most importantly, their name and email. So, but let me tell you what's not happening though at this point. Even though you've got their customer info, which is great, you haven't done any remarketing. Barely. Barely any remarketing. And if you barely have done any remarketing, most importantly, you don't have necessarily your remarketing on autopilot. So, and you have to remember to do that. Okay? So here's the other situation that may happen. So the other situation could be that, and this is oftentimes the more likely situation is that there's no purchase. And guess what? Because there's no purchase, basically they come to your website and they go away. So if you ever wondered what a bounce rate means, it means how long someone stays on your website. So if you run a campaign and you check your bounce rates data at the end of that and you see that so many people came and left, then that means that your campaign got them in the door to actually take action and click to come to your website, but your website was not able to convert them. Okay? So what happens is you don't capture their information. So guess what? This is where the line stops for you. Okay? Because now, because you didn't capture their information, okay, guess what you can't do? You can't nurture and you can't remarket. Okay? So what happens is the customer, you don't stay top of mind, I'm just going to say TOM, for customer, and they go off and buy somewhere else. Okay? Because this is usually what happens. So instead of you being able to remarket to them, they've taken another path, and that path isn't with you. Okay, so let me just make this a little more clear for you. Whoops. Da-da-da-da-da. So this is your funnel. This, you see, you have your traffic, your awareness. They engage, they take action, they come to your website. Ideal situation, yeah, you would love a conversion, a sale. More than likely, but then again, if you get that sale, the buck stops there. Because it's more, so that's why people have a marketing budget of a 70-30 split. 70% new acquisition, which means going and finding new customers. 30% remarketing, because generally speaking, it costs less to get someone who already knows you to buy, right? Which means like you can just send an email and start prepping them for a new launch, or you can send an email for a promo campaign. And guess what? Because they already know you, they already trust you, they already like you, and hopefully they've got amazing results from your offer, they'll buy. So you don't really got to spend any money on that. Most of the time, the remarketing budget is for like paid advertising things, so that like your new products or things like that can stay at the top of mind for, your warmer, hotter audience. But generally speaking, you don't spend a lot of money doing that. The new acquisition is people that don't know you, getting them to trust you and convert and like you quickly, right? So they don't stay a cold lead forever. That's where the 70% of your budget goes. But we stop here. So it's like, yeah, we're great, but how can you have steady and consistent sales if your marketing and sales pipeline stops like this, right? So then the next aspect of that is that then you don't capture this information, and like we talked about, only 2 to 3% are ready to buy. So if you're constantly pipelining people in this funnel, but they stop here, then when they're ready to buy, they're going to go buy somewhere else, right? Because like you're not continuing to nurture them. So why would they be aware of what you have to offer? All right. So let's talk about the more ideal situation of what it is that you want to do. Okay. So we're going to talk, we're going to talk about another funnel, because this is what I'm going to teach you, okay? And this is what you actually want. What is going on? Come on, yeah. Oh, can I go left or right? Okay, whatever. Can't you see? I'm trying to go down. Okay. So this is what you actually really want to do. All right. So you want to have your targeted traffic, okay? Because we're going to get tighter. Targeted traffic, right? With your ideal marketing message. So you are spot on. You know how to promote. You know how to get that traffic into this pipeline. It could be whatever. It could be IG post, paid, organic, or whatever. You just know how to get your traffic in to the system, okay? Because remember, direct response marketing allows you to be more detailed. Then you send them to what's going on? Then you send them to a specific landing page. Okay, so if you have a certain collection you're featuring, if you have a certain product you're trying to sell, if you have a certain course offer, if you have a certain service, you're sending them directly to that landing page. You're not sending them anywhere else so that they can get distracted and look around, and then, their kids or their boyfriend or somebody else calls them and they don't make the purchase. Don't get them distracted. It's targeted, specific, right? This is direct response marketing. Then you have your ideal situation, which is purchase made, data collected. Okay? Then, because that, you have some type of, I would say, remarketing strategy, ideally automated. What I mean by that is that if you have a product suite, there's this different sales system that allows you to tag someone when they have a certain product, buy a certain product, and then it'll remarket them like the next item. Or let's say that you have skincare, people come back and they always like buy the next one because their product is out, so reminding them to reshop. Services, generally speaking, you don't need to remarket if they're continuously using your service unless there's an upgrade or a new service. But generally speaking, service-based businesses have a closer relationship, so you would just be like talking to them. But again, that's still a remarketing strategy. And then course creators preparing for a new launch, for a new product, because generally speaking, digital products and course creators and coaches don't necessarily have a lot of new products, but as they prepare for a new launch or something like that, they can remarket. If you have digital products like templates and things like that, same thing. You can tag which template they have. You can tag the complementary ones that go with it and move them down your product suite. And ideally, you can do that for free. Okay? So that is great, because now you're starting to be more targeted, more specific, and you're making sure that you're capitalizing on your time, money, and resources, okay? And putting a real strategy into place. Now, let's say, for example, which again, if only 2 to 3% are ready to buy, then here is the next example where, maybe they're just not ready at this time, but they're definitely interested. We already know that there's so many different reasons why people don't buy, but, no purchase made. But guess what? You have some sort of opt-in. Okay, we can talk all day long about different opt-in or lead strategies, but at this point, if they didn't make a purchase, you have a few different options. Of course, with like paid advertising, you have the pixels, right? So the pixels allow you to remarket your adverts to them, or they've done some sort of higher level step, which is opt-in and give you their information. So generally speaking, what you really want is email plus first name. You want the first name because you want to personalize the messaging that you send them, especially with your emails. You want to, just like we talked about in the captions, the most powerful word is you. So if you're like, hey, Maria, how are you today, right? So versus like, hey, y'all, like, do you see what I'm saying? So because you're in someone's inbox space, those are the two most important things that you want. There's other information that you can collect if you do text marketing. You can get the phone number, Instagram. I sometimes ask for the Instagram name, different things like that. So I'm just going to add really quickly So you can have paid ad pixel remarketing. Okay, so there we go. Now, here is where your systems take over. Okay, your marketing doesn't stop there. So that's the paid ad pixel remarketing. That goes off into a whole nother journey. We'll talk about, we're talking about all the organic strategies first. We want to validate, your funnel before we start sending them coins down that way. So now here's what generally should happen is you have some sort of system in place for email automation. And I'm going to tell you this. This is amazing because it's free besides the cost of your email service provider. But generally speaking, it's not going to be an arm and a leg. So now what happens is that they've entered into your remarketing automation sequence. Not to mention, I'm not even going to add in here. Actually, I might just add in here. So I'm going to just back it up really quick. Abandoned cart. I'm just going to say automation because I think that like some platforms, which is email, but some platforms have like systems. So email. And guess what? Sorry. Why are you doing this to me? Hold on. I just want these. No! Okay, sorry. Oh my gosh. Come on now. Work with me here. Okay, so remarketing systems. Now, here's the thing. Now, if they did, so this is another option that if they didn't purchase, guess what? The email abandoned cart system can take over, right? And now that the email abandoned cart system has taken over, because this applies sometimes when they may fill in their name and their email, and because you have the email abandoned cart system activated in whatever your e-commerce site is, and however, or not e-commerce, but whatever your sales mechanism is, because every site is different. Like with ClickFunnels, you have to kind of set it up a different way. With the e-commerce brands, obviously it already comes with it, but with the email abandoned cart automation, this will fire off, okay? And it may fire off like 2 to 3 times. But then guess what? Eventually, hopefully, they turn into, because of the email cart, abandoned cart, a paying customer, right? And then, guess what? You can send them down your remarketing pipeline. Okay? And this can also be done with ads. Just that you don't want to lose them. You've already got them into this pipeline. Why do you want to lose them? Okay? So that's another situation there with automation. Do you know I have a 60 to 70% success rate with my abandoned cart? Because it just could be timing. They could just like be doing it at work and they can't check out. I know I don't really like to check out on my phone because it's like I don't usually have my wallet with me, so I'm just like, I don't know my card details, got to copy paste, and like it just is kind of annoying, and I don't like to store my data on my phone unless it's like Apple Pay or something like that, but they may not have that available. So I may come back later, save it. So you don't want them to forget because life goes on and they want it, but again, you have to stay top of mind. So then the next thing that happens is, again, no purchase made opt-in. So we're going to go back to that. So again, we have the paid pixel, but then what I talked about here is your nurture series. So depending on whatever this opt-in is, depending on what the situation is, you're going to have a nurture email series, okay? And generally speaking, with your nurture email series, you may have, I don't know how long your sequences. Okay, so let's just say you have a 4-part series, okay? Because again, they're out of your pipeline from that one time you promoted, but guess what? You haven't stopped. You're executing proper marketing and you're keeping it going. Okay? And again, the nurture series is dependent upon whatever it is you're offering them. Okay? So I'm trying to keep it color coordinated for you so that you can really kind of see the visuals, especially when I back it up so you can see the bigger picture. Okay, so then guess what? This one right here, this one may be where the sale comes in. So now, guess what? You have a paying customer because they've been nurtured. They're like, man, this person is good. And, like I said, I wasn't ready because I had to wait for, the money to come in, whatever my situation was. And, oh yeah, thanks for reminding me, because I literally have had emails from people saying, oh, thank you for reminding me. Because they wanted it. It's just that, we have a million things that we're juggling in our life. And then guess what? You add them back to your remarketing strategy for future endeavors. Do you see how much more intentional and specific this direct response marketing strategy is? Okay. So you promoted someone, it appealed to someone, they're like, oh my gosh, yeah. But at this point, they're kind of like, even the abandoned cart went through, but I'm still not ready. I just got a lot of things going on. And so then eventually they're like, all right, I'm in the email nurture series, but because you've just been getting so good at your messaging, you hit them here and they're like, okay, I have to sign up. I have to buy, right? And then guess what? Happy paying customer. So let me just zoom out a little bit. So you can see here, waste of money, short funnel, waste of time, energy, and effort, because there's no system. So that this original plan right here basically means that you have to, if you're not promoting, money's not coming in. This plan right here makes sure you don't leave money on the table and keeps your marketing going all the way until someone becomes a customer. Worst case scenario, they'll opt out and they just won't become a customer. And guess what? That's not who you wanted anyways in your pipeline. Not everyone that comes through your pipeline is who you want. You want to get better and better at attracting ready to buy, pay in full customers. But if they aren't that, then move them out, right? And you may think, well, I don't want to send all these emails. I send an email every single day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. And I don't have a high unsubscribe rate because I send emails that matter, which is what I'm going to teach you. But also, like I mentioned, this is what gets you a system and has money while you sleep. So once you validate and this system allows you to optimize and troubleshoot. You can go back and say, you know what, my nurture email series aren't working. Or actually, you know what, this one always converts, so let me move it to the first one. Same thing with abandoned cart. I got to get tighter with my abandoned cart so that I don't even take them, down to the no purchase automation. Or maybe I get better at my landing page so I can, close early and I don't have to go through all of this. Or maybe I'm getting so much better at my targeted traffic and my messaging that boom, boom. Do you see what I'm saying? So it allows you to actually troubleshoot. It allows you to actually optimize. And once you know that this system is any people that you send through this, you're getting high conversion rates and people are converting and you're shortening the time in which they actually convert from cold to hot, cold lead to hot customer, then guess what? Turn on the paid advertising and start funneling traffic. Because now you know that your system works. But if you keep funneling traffic to a broken system like this, you're constantly throwing away money, you're constantly throwing away time, and it's not worth it. So I'm going to show you how to set this up because really it's not that difficult, okay? So before we end this, let's just talk about some of the different marketing funnels. So now that you've kind of seen the strategy, I'm going to show you just a little bit of a traditional social media funnel, just different little funnels so you can kind of understand now how to apply this with social media. So essentially when we start with the funnels, right, we always start with traffic. Okay, so the traffic is going to come from any of your growth and engagement strategies, okay? So we're just going to walk through a few traditional funnels. So I'm going to try to keep it tight so that I can keep them together. Then you move to the awareness stage. So traffic is just like getting your name out there, like saying, hey, I have something for you. Awareness is like when they're just getting to know you. So they see your stuff and they kind of keep seeing it, and then something hits them and it intrigues them, and they're like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely interested in this. Then the interest stage is when they actually start to, like I said, tinker around, and they start to lean in, they start to consume a piece of your content, right? Maybe they listen to one of your trainings and they're like, oh, I like this. Or maybe they seen one of your case studies and then they go and they start looking through your hashtags or tagged photos to see more case studies of people using your products. Or services, right? Depending on what it is. And then the next stage after interest is engagement, right? Where, whatever your, call to action is. So usually if you have like a lead magnet or something, they opt in. So we're going to say that this is just a traditional marketing funnel. Okay. And then what did I do that? So then they, take action, they engage with the post, whatever it may be. And then the final most ideal situation is the conversion. And that is, ready to buy, pay in full customer. Okay. So that is kind of like your traditional marketing funnel. Now let's look at this when it comes to Instagram or social media. Okay. So you have traffic. So we're going to say this is, come on, Terry. We're going to say this is the Instagram marketing funnel. Okay. So you got traffic. And traffic can come from one of two places. All right. Traffic can be a growth promo using the growth strategy. So based on the different growth strategies you have, like with using, influencers or content or the Facebook group growth, like you're bringing traffic into your funnel. Okay. The second way that Instagram shows you traffic is your content, your feed posts. Because what happens with your feed post, which is a little bit also, so this is kind of like traffic and awareness. So with your feed post, this is how you grow and get seen through the Instagram terms, because Instagram will show your content to the explore page, hashtag page, reel page, shop feed. If somebody shares it to their stories, so story share. If somebody shares it to someone else in the DM, right? So basically they've taken your content, shared it to the stories, their people see it, they like it, they come check you out. Same thing, they send it to someone in the DM, they like it, they come check you out. So your feed post is how you get that traffic and awareness. So I would actually say more so, let's focus on the feed post for awareness, and the traffic really is like maybe using some of the growth strategies like Facebook group growth and putting people into the pipeline, which then they see your content and continue to move through the funnel. Okay, so then the next thing with the interest is your bio plus your top 9 content. So we've talked about this in the bio lesson. If your bio doesn't clearly tell what you do for them, and if they like see your content and it's just like kind of janky and low grain, low quality photos, then what is like going to keep them interested to want to follow you? But if it is clear, it's cohesive, it makes sense, doesn't have to be perfectly curated, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what this page is. This is what I've been looking for. And I know, that it can help me. So then what do they do is they move towards the engagement, which essentially, is kind of where they start to like you, right? So they got to know you, they got to like you. So they engage by watching your stories, commenting on your posts, etc. Because now they're taking action and they're like, okay, I like this page. I like what it has to offer. But we're going to add a secondary step into this funnel, and it's going to be the relationship building, which is essentially the trust. And that comes from DMs and convos in the comments. So if you're talking to people, if you're actually, because like engagement is just them like, maybe dropping something in your comments, things like that. But if you're actually like really establishing relationships, talking to them in DMs and having combos in the comments, like it just takes 2 seconds to actually have meaningful conversation. That's why we talk about in the engagement lesson to have majority of your engagement strategies, to have majority of your engagement on autopilot, and that way you can spend more time doing the relationship / trust building. Okay. And this could also be, sharing your story in DM. I mean, sharing your story in stories, right? Like sharing your personality, because then people really kind of get to like you as well. Okay. And then the last part is, oh my goodness, the spelling is just off the rocker. So the last part, of course, is the conversions and the sales. Okay, so we have growth, the traffic, bringing people into your funnel. We have awareness stages, right? We have interest, how long do they actually stay, and do they seek out more of your content? We have engagement, where they start to actually interact and take action on your different call to actions, and then convert them into sales. Okay, so you can see the traditional marketing funnel, you can see the Instagram funnel, and then you can see how then once they're in your funnel, right, you got the traffic in, they've seen some of, at this point, right, they've seen some of your, if we're using social media, consumed content and took action, right? So now they've consumed content and took action, and then now they've made it to this landing page. Again, depending on what this is, could be a lead page, could be a sales page. Boom, they're moving forward. But now you're going to have systems in place for the different strategies that I'm going to teach you. All right. But I just wanted to help you understand what these funnels are and the value of having systems. Okay. So we're going to have a system in place. Okay. And then you're going to have strategies that are going to help you execute these systems. All right. So that is it for marketing best practices and tips. Throughout phase 3, I'm going to be teaching you various forms of marketing, from content strategy to launch campaign. But the first things that I'm going to focus on is helping you set up your lead generation systems. Okay, so that you can capture this traffic, make sure you don't lose it. You can nurture them 24/7 on autopilot and eventually convert them into paying customers without you. Okay, so when I teach you lead generation, I'm going to teach you how to grow your audience, your email list, and followers, right? And attract ready to buy pay in full customers with your messaging, how to properly nurture them, right? The mindset of the email automation, and how do you establish know, like, trust, and convert them to a sale in one fell swoop. You can literally do that in one fell swoop. You can go from cold to hot very quickly. Okay. Most people just teach lead magnets for list building. All right. But I'm going to actually show you how, like I always teach you, how to do one thing and get multiple benefits. Okay, so by the time you are completely done with phase 3, you are going to learn how to create not only lead generation systems, but also sales systems. All right, we'll talk about that a little bit later. My goal is to show you how to use different strategies to then drive highly targeted traffic into those systems. Okay, then how to test it out to make sure that you have a really high conversion rate, that whole funnel, that system, and those strategies are working amazing for free. Then when you know that you're like, okay, I have high converting funnels, then you can start to turn on the paid advertising and start to print money. Because remember, paid advertising is just traffic. So if you're sending your traffic, you're paying to send traffic down a broken pipeline, you're just throwing your money away. And we don't want that. All right. So this is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to put all of this together. You're going to learn how to create marketing that closes leads and sales, and your different campaigns that you're going to be running. So keep in mind, make sure you've checked out the content and caption strategy, because for your content portion of the different strategies I'll have for that, The viral content and caption strategies are like your overall content plan so that you know how to represent your brand, share your stories, make sales, and things like that. But as we move into phase 3, I'm going to be showing you specific strategies for certain objectives and goals, but you want to make sure that you have the original plan so you can build off of it. Okay? So if you have any questions, you already know, drop them in the discussion area of this lesson or in the members only community, and let's get started on creating your lead generation systems and strategies in the next lesson.